Did you know the wrong food in your prepper stash can turn into poison? Exactly when you need it most? When crisis strikes, there's no second chance. One bad choice in your pantry could mean the difference between staying strong or getting too weak to survive. Today, we're breaking down 7 common prepping items you must avoid at all costs, and the 2 essential tools that will keep you alive when everything else runs out. Let's start with the survival food nearly every family stockpiles, but if you get this wrong, it can silently kill you. Number 7. Canned foods. Past their prime storage life. Most families stockpile canned goods thinking they last forever, but deteriorating cans become deadly poison dispensers that cause botulism and heavy metal poisoning exactly when medical care becomes unavailable during crisis situations. While canned foods can technically last years past expiration dates, the containers themselves break down in ways that turn nutritious food into lethal toxins that kill through slow poisoning. The container breakdown process is invisible and deadly. Acidic foods like tomatoes and citrus corrode can linings, allowing aluminum and lead to leach directly into food at dangerous concentrations. The protective coating inside cans contains BPA that increases with age and temperature exposure, creating hormone disruption that affects immune function when you need maximum health. Most dangerously, microscopic seal failures allow botulism bacteria to grow in oxygen-free environments, producing toxins so deadly that 1 teaspoon could kill thousands of people. The poisoning symptoms masquerade as normal illness. Heavy metal accumulation causes fatigue, digestive problems, and neurological issues that seem like stress responses during crisis situations. Lead poisoning mimics depression and confusion, making people unable to think clearly during emergencies when sharp decision-making determines survival. Botulism starts with weakness and blurred vision before progressing to complete paralysis and respiratory failure that kills without intensive medical intervention. The storage trap multiplies during crisis conditions. Temperature fluctuations in unheated storage areas accelerate deterioration, while increasing bacterial growth rates. Flooding and moisture cause external rust that indicates internal contamination, but looks cosmetic to untrained eyes. Power outages prevent refrigeration of opened cans, forcing consumption of questionable food when safer alternatives aren't available. Smart canned food management requires strict rotation schedules, proper storage conditions, and visual inspection protocols that identify dangerous deterioration before consumption. Glass containers eliminate metal contamination, while freeze-dried alternatives provide longer storage life without container degradation risks. During the siege of Sarajevo, families eating properly rotated canned goods maintained health, while those consuming deteriorated cans faced metal poisoning that weakened them exactly when physical strength became essential for survival. Number 6. Refined white rice as calorie foundation. White rice seems like perfect survival food until you realize it's nutritionally stripped grain that causes dangerous vitamin deficiencies while providing empty calories that lead to malnutrition exactly when your body needs maximum nutrition to handle crisis stress. This processed grain looks filling and stores well, but extended consumption creates beriberi and other deficiency diseases that killed millions throughout history. The nutritional stripping process removes everything your body needs. The bran and germ contain B vitamins, minerals, and essential fatty acids that your nervous system requires to function properly. White rice provides only simple carbohydrates that spike blood sugar before crashing, creating energy cycles that impair decision-making during critical situations. The lack of protein means your body starts breaking down muscle tissue to maintain organ function, weakening you progressively during extended emergency periods. The deficiency cascade happens quickly during high-stress situations. Vitamin B1 deficiency causes beriberi within weeks, leading to nerve damage, heart problems, and mental confusion that makes crisis management impossible. Lack of essential amino acids impairs immune function, making you vulnerable to infections when medical care becomes unavailable. The blood sugar instability from refined carbohydrates causes mood swings, irritability, and poor judgment that leads to dangerous decisions during emergency. The historical evidence is overwhelming. Populations dependent on white rice suffered massive die-offs from deficiency diseases, even when calories were abundant. Japanese prisoners during World War II developed beriberi within months of white rice diets despite adequate caloric intake. Philippine populations suffered widespread malnutrition when switching from brown to white rice, demonstrating that calories alone don't equal nutrition. Smart carbohydrate storage focuses on whole grains that provide complete nutrition. Brown rice, quinoa, and whole wheat contain the B vitamins, minerals, and protein needed for extended survival periods. These whole grains cost only slightly more while providing dramatically better nutrition that maintains health and mental function during crisis conditions. During extended siege situations, Populations eating whole grains maintained health and resistance, while those dependent on refined carbohydrates weakened progressively until they couldn't defend themselves effectively. Number 5. Vegetable oils for long-term cooking. Standard vegetable oils become rancid poison that destroys your health while creating fire hazards and toxic fumes that make stored food inedible exactly when cooking capability becomes essential for survival. These highly processed oils contain unstable polyunsaturated fats that oxidize rapidly during storage, creating inflammatory compounds that damage your cardiovascular and immune systems when you need maximum physical performance. The rancidity process is accelerated by heat, light, and oxygen exposure that's impossible to prevent in most storage conditions. Corn oil, soybean oil, and canola oil begin breaking down within months of opening, creating aldehydes and other toxic compounds that cause cellular damage. The oxidized fats contribute to inflammation that impairs healing, weakens immune response, and reduces physical endurance during high-stress situations. Even unopened oils deteriorate when stored in warm conditions, turning potentially life-saving calories into health-destroying toxins. The cooking danger multiplies during emergency conditions. Rancid oils smoke at lower temperatures, creating toxic fumes that contaminate food and living spaces. The chemical breakdown products can ignite unexpectedly, causing cooking fires when you can't afford to lose food or shelter. Consuming rancid oils causes digestive upset, nausea, and diarrhea that leads to dangerous dehydration during crisis periods when clean water becomes precious. The storage challenge is nearly impossible with vegetable oils. They require cool, dark, oxygen-free environments that most people can't maintain long-term. Temperature fluctuations accelerate breakdown, while light exposure destroys antioxidants that prevent rancidity. Even properly stored vegetable oils have maximum shelf lives of 2 years, making them unsuitable for long-term emergency preparedness. Smart cooking fat storage focuses on stable saturated fats that resist rancidity. Coconut oil remains stable for years at room temperature while providing medium-chain fatty acids that support immune function. Animal fats like lard and tallow store safely for extended periods while providing essential fat-soluble vitamins. These traditional fats cost less per calorie while maintaining nutritional value and cooking performance throughout extended storage periods. During World War II rationing, families using stable animal fats maintain nutrition while those dependent on vegetable oils face deficiency diseases and cooking failures. Before we move on, take 2 seconds to subscribe. Most people will never know these prepping traps until it's too late, but you'll be ready. Number 4. Protein powders and supplements. Protein powders and synthetic supplements promise concentrated nutrition but become expensive placebos that provide false nutritional security while missing the essential cofactors your body needs to actually utilize isolated nutrients effectively. These processed products deteriorate rapidly in storage while providing incomplete nutrition that can't replace real food during extended crisis periods when complete nutrition becomes essential for survival. The bioavailability problem is fundamental. Isolated protein powders lack the amino acid profiles and digestive enzymes found in whole foods, making them poorly absorbed and utilized by your body. Synthetic vitamins often use forms that your body can't process effectively, passing through without providing real nutritional benefit. The manufacturing process destroys heat-sensitive nutrients while adding artificial ingredients that can cause digestive problems during high-stress situations when gut health becomes critical. The storage degradation is rapid and expensive. Protein powders develop rancid flavors and lose nutritional value within months of opening, even when stored properly. Temperature and humidity fluctuations destroy vitamin potency while promoting bacterial growth in powder form. The cost per nutritional unit is enormous compared to whole food alternatives. A month's supply of quality protein powder costs more than 3 months of dried beans and rice that provide superior complete nutrition. The dependency trap creates nutritional gaps. People relying on supplements often neglect whole food storage, creating dangerous nutritional deficiencies when powder supplies run out. The psychological dependence on processed nutrition makes people unable to recognize and utilize whole food sources that provide better nutrition at lower cost. During extended emergencies, supplement supplies become unavailable, while whole foods remain accessible through foraging, gardening, and trading. Smart protein storage focuses on shelf-stable whole foods that provide complete amino acid profiles. Dried beans, lentils, nuts, and seeds contain not only protein but also the B vitamins, minerals, and healthy fats needed for proper protein utilization. These whole foods store for years when properly managed, while costing significantly less than processed alternatives. Real food provides the nutritional complexity that isolated supplements simply cannot match. Number 3. Frozen foods as emergency backup. Frozen foods represent the most dangerous false security in modern preparedness, creating complete dependency on electrical power while providing zero nutrition when the power grid fails and temperatures rise above freezing. These foods become expensive garbage within hours of power loss, while the psychological dependence on freezer storage prevents people from developing real food preservation skills. The power dependency is absolute and fragile. Frozen foods require continuous electricity to maintain safety, but power grids fail during almost every natural disaster, infrastructure attack, and severe weather event. Without power, frozen foods begin bacterial growth within hours, becoming dangerous to consume within days. The defrosting process creates massive amounts of liquid that attracts insects and rodents while creating unsanitary conditions exactly when hygiene becomes critical for health. The spoilage cascade happens faster than people realize. Meat products become dangerous within 6 hours at room temperature, while vegetables lose nutritional value immediately upon thawing. The bacterial growth is invisible but deadly, causing food poisoning that leads to dangerous dehydration during crisis periods when medical care becomes unavailable. Even partial thawing and refreezing destroys food safety while creating false confidence about edibility. The psychological trap prevents real preparedness. Families with full freezers feel prepared while actually being completely dependent on infrastructure that fails during every major emergency. The investment in frozen food storage prevents people from learning traditional preservation methods like canning, dehydrating, and salt curing that actually work during power outages. The false security leads to inadequate preparation with shelf-stable foods that don't require electricity. Smart food preservation focuses on methods that work without power. Properly canned foods last for years without electricity while maintaining nutrition and safety. Dehydrated foods reduce storage space requirements while eliminating spoilage risks. Salt-cured meats provide complete proteins that actually improve with age when stored properly. During Hurricane Katrina, families with freezer-dependent food storage lost everything within the first day, while those with properly preserved shelf-stable foods maintained nutrition for weeks. The electrical grid took months to restore in many areas, making frozen food storage completely worthless for extended emergency periods. Number 2. Bottled water as primary hydration. Commercial bottled water creates the most expensive and dangerous water dependency while providing false security that collapses exactly when clean water becomes most critical for survival. These plastic bottles cost thousands of times more than stored tap water, while creating storage and contamination problems that turn water security into a logistical nightmare during extended emergencies. The cost trap is economically devastating. Bottled water costs over $1,000 per person per year for basic hydration needs, consuming massive resources that could provide comprehensive emergency preparedness instead. A family of 4 spending money on bottled water could purchase complete water filtration systems, food storage, and medical supplies for the same annual cost. The expense prevents real preparedness while providing minimal actual water security during extended crisis periods. The storage problem multiplies during emergencies. Plastic bottles require enormous storage space while degrading over time, leaching chemicals that make water taste bad and potentially harmful. Temperature fluctuations cause bottle expansion and contraction that leads to seal failures and contamination. The bottles become brittle with age, breaking during handling and creating water loss exactly when every drop becomes precious. The supply chain dependency is absolute. Bottled water disappears within hours of emergency declarations as panicked populations strip store shelves bare. The manufacturing and distribution infrastructure fails during major disasters, leaving bottled water-dependent families without alternatives when municipal water systems also fail. The just-in-time delivery system means no local reserves exist when transportation networks get disrupted. Smart water security focuses on home storage and purification capabilities that don't depend on continued manufacturing and delivery. Food-grade containers holding municipal water provide safe hydration at pennies per gallon while maintaining long-term storage capability. Quality water filters remove contaminants from questionable sources, providing unlimited clean water as long as any water source remains available. During Hurricane Maria, families dependent on bottled water faced dehydration within days when stores ran out and trucks couldn't deliver, while those with home storage and filtration systems maintained safe water supplies for months. The infrastructure took over a year to fully restore, making home water security the difference between life and death for many families. Number 1. Prescription medications hoarded without rotation. Stockpiled prescription medications without proper rotation and medical oversight become deadly poison that kills through toxic degradation while providing false medical security exactly when healthcare becomes unavailable during crisis situations. These expired drugs transform from life-saving medicine into dangerous compounds that cause organ damage while preventing people from seeking alternative treatments that might actually help. The chemical degradation is invisible and lethal. Medications break down into toxic metabolites that stress liver and kidney function while losing all therapeutic effectiveness. Insulin becomes completely ineffective and potentially harmful within months past expiration, causing diabetic coma in people who believe they're properly treating their condition. Antibiotics lose potency while developing bacterial resistance, making infections worse rather than better. Heart medications become unstable, potentially causing dangerous cardiac events during high-stress situations. The dosage confusion becomes deadly during emergencies. People forget proper dosing schedules, take multiple medications that interact dangerously, or use medications prescribed for different conditions that cause serious side effects. The psychological dependence on pharmaceutical solutions prevents people from learning basic health maintenance and natural alternatives that might be more effective during extended crisis periods. Withdrawal symptoms from suddenly stopping medications can be life-threatening without medical supervision. The storage requirements are impossible for most people to maintain. Medications require specific temperature and humidity ranges that most homes can't provide consistently. Heat, light, and moisture exposure accelerate breakdown while making medications dangerous to consume. Smart medical preparedness focuses on health maintenance that doesn't depend on pharmaceutical supply chains. Regular exercise, proper nutrition, and stress management prevent many health problems that require medication during normal times. Basic first aid training and natural remedies provide emergency healthcare capabilities when professional help becomes unavailable. During extended crisis situations, communities with focus on preventive health and natural remedies maintain better health outcomes, while those dependent on hoarded medications faced medical crises when drugs ran out or became ineffective. Real health security comes from maintaining wellness, not stockpiling drugs. Survival item 2: hand tools for food production and repair. The second item that separates survivors from casualties is a comprehensive set of hand tools that provide food production and repair capabilities without depending on electricity, fuel, or replacement parts. These simple mechanical devices enable self-sufficiency that keeps families fed and sheltered when industrial supply chains collapse, and professional services become unavailable during extended crisis periods. The food production capability is life-saving. Proper hand tools enable garden cultivation, food processing, and meal preparation that provides fresh nutrition when stored foods run low. A good shovel, hoe, and hand rake enable soil preparation and cultivation that can produce thousands of calories from small garden plots. Sharp knives and cutting boards process wild plants, garden vegetables, and any available protein sources into nutritious meals. The repair capability maintains shelter and equipment. Quality hammers, screwdrivers, pliers, and wrenches enable maintenance and repair of everything from housing to vehicles to mechanical equipment that keeps families safe and functional. A good saw and measuring tools enable construction of shelter improvements, furniture, and storage solutions from available materials. The independence factor eliminates dependency. Hand tools work regardless of power availability, fuel supplies, or parts availability that cripple electric and gas-powered equipment during emergencies. Quality hand tools last for decades with minimal maintenance while providing capabilities that no amount of stored food or supplies can replace. The economic advantage is overwhelming. A complete set of quality hand tools costs less than 1 month of restaurant meals while providing capabilities that can feed and shelter families for years. These tools retain value and functionality indefinitely while stored foods and supplies get consumed and must be replaced. The return on investment from food production alone pays for tool costs within months while providing ongoing savings and security. During economic collapse situations, families with hand tools maintain food production and shelter, while those dependent on industrial services faced hunger and housing problems when services became unaffordable or unavailable. Tools provide the capability to create security rather than just consume stored resources. Survival item 1: seeds for sustainable food production. The number one survival essential that costs almost nothing but provides unlimited food security is a comprehensive collection of heirloom seeds that enable sustainable food production without depending on industrial agriculture or continuous resupply. These living resources multiply exponentially while providing fresh nutrition that maintains health during extended crisis periods when stored foods become depleted or unavailable. The multiplication factor is extraordinary. A $5 packet of seeds can produce hundreds of pounds of fresh food, while generating thousands of new seeds for future planting seasons. Unlike stored foods that get consumed and depleted, seeds create renewable food sources that continue producing year after year with proper saving and storage techniques. The caloric return on seed investment exceeds any other preparedness purchase by orders of magnitude while providing nutrition that stored foods cannot match. The nutritional advantage is critical during extended emergencies. Fresh vegetables and fruits provide vitamins, minerals, and enzymes that deteriorate in stored foods over time. Growing your own food ensures maximum nutrition density while providing psychological benefits that reduce stress and improve mental health during crisis situations. The variety of foods possible from comprehensive seed collections prevents nutritional deficiencies that develop from limited stored food diets. The independence factor eliminates supply chain dependency. Seeds enable food production regardless of store availability, transportation networks, or economic conditions that disrupt normal food supplies. Local food production eliminates transportation requirements while providing food security that doesn't depend on industrial agriculture that fails during widespread disruptions. The storage requirements are minimal. Properly stored seeds maintain viability for years while requiring only cool, dry conditions that most homes can provide easily. The storage space required for a year's worth of seeds equals the space needed for a few days of stored food while providing potentially unlimited food production capability. So today you learned the difference between supplies that fail you and the tools that will actually keep you alive when everything else runs out. Preparedness isn't about panic. It's about being confident, capable, and ready to protect your family no matter what comes. In the next video, we're exposing the 7 most dangerous prepping items people keep in their stash, plus the 2 that truly separate survivors from victims. You don't want to miss this one. Hit like if this gave you value, and subscribe so you'll know exactly what to avoid and what to store before the next crisis hits. Your input helps us uncover the next survival secrets.